I did my research on the hantavirus, so you don't have to. First of all, hantavirus has taken over every single platform. May somebody explain to me? It's on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. My mom knows about it. My dad knows about it. My siblings know about it, and I have a child as a sibling. It is such a big problem, and the big issue is because people are worried that it's going to cause a pandemic, apparently. That's not true. At least in my theories and after my research, I don't think any pandemic is going to be caused so far, hopefully. Anyways, that being said, people have to realize that the hantavirus they're talking about isn't a singular virus. It's a family of viruses that includes HPS and HFRS, respectively, hantavirus pulmonary syndromes, which is the HPS, and hemorrhagic fever with Raynaud syndrome, which is the HFRS. Each of these, first of all, the criteria to be in a hantavirus has to be the contamination through rodents. I clarify, a contamination through rodents, which means mice, bats, urine, saliva, feces. Unless you're making out with somebody, you are at a low risk of getting the disease, the HFS or the HFRS. That being said, the HFRS is much easier to detect than the HFPS, and the only reason for that is because the HFRS has such very obvious syndromes. The syndromes are so easy to detect. You might even go to the hospital thinking you have something else and will end up diagnosed with HFRS. As for the HPS, first of all, the early syndromes are like a natural day for people who work. The later on syndromes, it just, worst case scenario, you just fell down the stairs, you could have them. It's so easy to detect these things. All right, so for the symptoms, the first thing that we also need to know is that they appear 8 weeks after contamination. I have a table here of all the symptoms that we need to know. So for HPS, the early symptoms include fatigue, fever, short of breath, coughing. You see what I mean by saying it's very easy to not tell that you have the HPS? Like the first of all, that is me on a random day. If I drink too much Sprite, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna cough. The common symptoms include, this is after you're officially diagnosed with the HPS. Like this is what everybody would have. They would have headaches, dizziness, diarrhea, chills, abdominal problems, nausea, intense pain, vomiting. Still a normal day. You can have a stomach issue or a stomach worm, and you're going to have all of these as well. You really cannot tell when or when not you have the HPS. That's why its mortality rate or fatality rate is 40%. And I think this is also another reason people are scared of a pandemic. Just because a disease has a high percentage for a mortality rate doesn't mean it's going to cause a pandemic. The second thing is the HFRS, which is the Raynaud one. This one, it is much easier to detect because, as I said, you could possibly go to the medical field thinking you have a kidney failure and boom, you have HFRS because, as I said, kidney failure is in fact one of the symptoms of the HFRS. It's a symptom. It's not even what it could do to you. This is why this one has only a percentage of 1 to 15% of mortality rate. The early and initial symptoms include intense headaches, fever, chills, nausea, blurred vision, back and abdominal pain, basically anything you could also have except the intense headaches. It is not very normal for you to have intense headaches, so the early ones are very difficult to detect, to be honest. This is speaking about like 4 weeks, 3 weeks after infection. The common symptoms, which means this is something that's gonna make you detect almost 100% that you have HFRS, is low blood pressure, lack of blood flow, acute shock, internal bleeding, that's like vascular leakage, your muscles are just leaking blood everywhere, and kidney failure or severe fluid overload. Both of them also have the possibility of your lungs being filled with fluid, but it's more common for HFRS than it is for HPS, which again adds to the point that HFRS is very easy to detect. As I said, you can have kidney failure, issues with your blood, issues with your lungs, issues with your coughing, issues with your head. All of these would make you go to the hospital and then boom, you're diagnosed with HFRS. Probably did not want it, but it is what it is. What can we do? There are so many things you can do to prevent this. So many things, which again is much easier compared to COVID-19 because the reason COVID-19 was a pandemic, I repeat, is because the contamination was done from person to person. We needed a lockdown because if I go buy milk from the grocery shop, I will get infected if the person there was infected. So this was why we had a lockdown. This one only needs you to be contaminated through a rodent, which, as I said, saliva, feces, urine. You're not drinking someone's feces. You're not kissing somebody all the time. You're not just kissing everybody. If you are, worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. So for the preventions, there are so many things you could possibly do. Clean your house. I know. Uni students, oh my God, I have to clean my house. Yes, you do. You have to clean your house. And no, I'm not talking about just picking up some stuff randomly. Mop your goddamn house with alcohol. Well, not alcohol, the products you clean your floor with. Mop it every single day if you don't want to get infected. Because, brother, 5 minutes of cleaning is not worth your health. Please. Second thing you need to do, if you're outside, at this point, this is supposed to be basic human hygiene. You're probably not doing it, so I'm just going to tell you to do it now. Every time you go outside, clean your hand before touching your mouth. That's it. Before you eat, clean your hand. When you get the whole day, you spent the whole day, you're holding somebody's hand, shaking it. You're like, thank you, it was nice meeting you. Oh, la la la, blah blah blah. Come back home, clean your hands before doing anything. No, don't even buy ice cream outside the cone and eat the cone after you ate it. Now, this is facts that you probably did not know. Why am I gonna mention these? Because I'm trying to prove to you that it's not gonna cause COVID. First of all, if you're not in the medical field, like me, I'm not in the medical field, it is probably your first time hearing about the hantavirus, again, like me, which makes you think that, oh my god, it's a new kind of virus, it exploded. No, the first contamination was in the 1950s. Every single year from 2016 to 2020, there has been over 1,000 cases worldwide of death. It's not a new family of viruses. The only reason you're hearing about it is because, God forbid, a whole boat got hit by this infection. And unfortunately for us, there's a lot to worry about when it comes to that, but I'll go to that at the end of the video. Now, something else that you guys maybe might prove your point that there might be a pandemic, but until then, I'll stay calm about it. The first thing is the theory or the idea or the more like the PTSD of us having COVID-19 back in 2020 has made so many of us believe that just because this virus has showed up at the same time as COVID-19 means we're gonna have a pandemic. That's such an unrealistic standard to hold. I understand that it is a shocking coincidence, but a coincidence does not mean it doesn't prove anything. Literally, it doesn't prove anything. And I'm gonna say why the theory comes from it being the exact same dates. So the infection or the fact we started hearing about this virus during the end of April, beginning of May. And as I said, it takes about 8 weeks for the infection to happen. So if you do the math, blah, 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 you're going to go back and find out that if the person has been confirmed symptoms on the 6th of May, which is the day I'm recording this video, take it back about, let's say, 8 weeks, it's 10th of March. And what was 10th of March? The day, the exact date that the governments or the World Health Organizations declared that COVID-19 has started officially. And then a week later, which was on March 18th approximately, it was the first time the World Health Organizations have declared a worldwide lockdown, preventing everybody from going outside and causing havoc and everything, and then 1 year without studies. That's the thing you probably want, guys. So this is unrealistic standards to hold to the hantavirus because just because the pandemic happened, it's just a coincidence. It's not something there's no correlation. Just because a coincidence happened doesn't mean this is definitely going to happen. So there is nothing to worry about. Now, unfortunately for you guys, I have to get you to break the bubble that even I don't want to break. But forget everything I just said. Why? Because even though I said the contamination only happens through rodents, which means there is no chance of a pandemic happening, I pretty much lied to you guys because after doing the research on the boat, the reason why there's such a big outbreak on the hantavirus is because a new kind developed called the Hondius virus, and it is a primary cause for the HPS, which, as you remember, the hardest kind to figure out, and it is a rare type of hantavirus that can be spread from person to person. This is what makes the entire thing a big issue. It is because everybody is worried about this unique, even scientists, they're worried about this rare kind of hantavirus because this family of viruses has existed since the 1950s, and this is the first time that it is able to spread from human to human. My theory is that this virus managed to develop, the HPS, managed to develop itself on the boats because they have been confined there for 1 entire week. And according to my research, they had told them beforehand that this boat was not going to have any medical insurance on them, any medical viewing on the boat. So if anybody has health issues, they shouldn't join the journey. So here's some information about the boat. It departed on April 1st from Argentina, and it was supposed to reach on May 4th, the destination being Spain's Canary Islands. It was redirected due to the outbreak of the hantavirus. The boat is a luxury boat. There is no reason for there to be any rodents anywhere. It's a luxury boat. It has to hold to the standards of a clean boat. It has to hold to the standards of it being, clean, spotless, no rodents anywhere, smells good. So how did it possibly go from a person to a person? Because even if someone had the hantavirus before boarding the boat, there was no reason for it to spread to everybody else. And as you know, there are 8 confirmed cases on the boats, 6 of them being 100% confirmed, 2 of them being probable. Next thing you need to know, the thing about the ship is that the hantavirus outbroke on the 6th of April, I apologize. The 11th was the death of the first victim, and yet we're still hearing about this only late of May. Why? Because after examining everybody, it has been seen that they have been contaminated. There's also videos of passengers on the boat, and this is something that kind of breaks my heart, but it goes back to the train dilemma, which I will explain afterwards. The passengers on the boat have been trying to get people's understanding. There's this video of Jack Rosemarin, who tried to post talking about how they have families as well. This is real for them more than anybody else, because they're the ones who are inside stuck with this virus going around.
I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people.
I get the points, but if we go back to the train dilemma, if you don't know what the train dilemma, I'll explain it pretty briefly. The train dilemma is actually a dilemma where you sacrifice amount for the greater good. It was simply by saying you're on a train, you're the conductor, right? And you're going on the railways. There's the possibility for you to turn left. Keep that in mind, okay? You're the one conducting the train. You're able to move the hander, the lever, whatever it is, to turn left, all right? You're walking, great news, and then you see 5 people stuck to the rail. If the train goes at the speed it is right now, it's gonna kill them, and they have no way of leaving unless you turn the lever and turn to the other side. But if you turn to the other side, there are 2 people stuck there. You're gonna manage to kill those people, and it's gonna be on you. But he would have saved 5 people. So this is kind of the dilemma that's stuck between what would you do? Would you pull the lever and have to live with the fear and the guilt of having killed 2 people for the sake of 5? Or would you just leave it be because that's how it was gonna be anyways? Like, you don't want to get involved in it. This is about the greater good. You want to sacrifice an amount of people for the greater good. TikTok has clearly made it clear that they would have pulled the lever. They think sacrificing the boat is much better than an outbreak of the hantavirus, because this one is going to be much more complicated to deal with than COVID-19, since the symptoms show up 8 weeks later. There are also theories of people believing that the boat does not exist, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because it is 2026. How is it that only one person posted a video on that boat? And I don't know how many passengers were on that boat. Only a singular person posted a video about them talking about the issue. Nobody else did. The confirmed cases, as I said, are 8 cases, 6 being 100%, 2 being we don't even know. And you need to know something else about the people. 2 Canadians have managed to leave the ship before the outbreak. Did they get infected or not? We're not gonna find out until 2 weeks from now. Because if we think about it, if they left the